What's up everyone and welcome back to MMA Talk. In a recent interview, UFC middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis shared his candid thoughts on a potential super fight between Khamzat and Alex Pereira, and his verdict was brutally honest. In his view, Khamzat has no chance of winning. Speaking confidently, Du Plessis said that while Khamzat is known for his bold callouts and fearless attitude, the idea of him stepping into the octagon with Pereira would likely end badly for him. He made it clear that the matchup isn't just unlikely, it would be an absolute mismatch. He's always had these crazy callouts, you know? Du Plessis remarked. Khamzat's a wild guy, always shooting for the biggest names. But honestly, I don't see any scenario where he beats Alex Pereira. Not one. In my opinion, Pereira is operating on another level right now. He's not only one of the best in MMA but one of the greatest in all of combat sports. Du Plessis went on to praise Pereira's size, strength, and technical skill. He highlighted Pereira's recent performances at light heavyweight, emphasizing how dominant and physically imposing the Brazilian has looked since moving up in weight. Even now, at light heavyweight, he looks massive. Du Plessis continued. Just look at him in his fight with Magomed. It was insane how big and composed he was in there. He's a true powerhouse. Khamzat might be a force at middleweight, but stepping up against Pereira would be an entirely different story. That's a dangerous mountain to climb. The South African champion also suggested that much of the talk surrounding a potential Chimaev versus Pereira fight is driven more by hype than reality. He believes that the chances of the matchup ever happening are slim, and if it did, the outcome would heavily favor Pereira. Honestly, I think it's just hype, Du Plessis said with a slight chuckle. People love to dream up these fantasy fights, but I don't see any realistic path where this actually happens. Even if it did, it wouldn't go well for Khamzat. Pereira's striking is on another planet, and his experience in big moments makes all the difference. Du Plessis's comments reflect not just respect for Pereira's elite skill set but also an understanding of how styles make fights. He recognizes that while Chimaev thrives on pressure, grappling, and relentless pace, Pereira's precise striking, brutal power, and calm composure under fire would pose insurmountable problems for the Chechen-born contender. The interview concluded with Du Plessis reiterating that Pereira's combination of technical mastery and knockout power makes him one of the most dangerous men in the sport, a fighter few can realistically challenge, especially at higher weight classes. With Chimaev's callouts continuing to make headlines and Pereira's dominance across two divisions, fans remain intrigued by the idea of this clash. But according to Dricus Du Plessis, the result is already written. If that fight ever happens, Alex Pereira wins, without question. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. In a recent interview, UFC middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis gave his thoughts on the upcoming heavyweight showdown between Aspinall and Gane, set to headline UFC 321. Known for his sharp analytical mind and honest takes, Du Plessis didn't hold back when making his prediction. He's leaning toward Aspinall to get the victory. Speaking about the matchup, Du Plessis described it as one of the most intriguing heavyweight fights in recent memory. Both men represent the new breed of athletic heavyweights, fast, technical, and highly intelligent in the cage. However, according to Du Plessis, one of them stands out right now in terms of momentum and hunger. It's going to be a very interesting fight, Du Plessis said, but I'm going with Aspinall on this one. I think he's hungry. I think he's ready. From everything I've seen in his training footage, he looks phenomenal, strong, sharp, and fully focused. Du Plessis went on to explain that Aspinall's recent performances have proven that he belongs at the very top of the division. After returning from a major knee injury, Aspinall's comeback was nothing short of spectacular, finishing opponents with speed and precision that's rare for a heavyweight. The way Aspinall moves for a guy his size is incredible, Du Plessis continued. He's got that perfect balance of speed, timing, and power. He's calm in the pocket, and when he decides to explode, he does it with real precision. You can tell he's been evolving every single fight. He's got that drive of someone who's not satisfied yet, someone who wants to prove he's the best in the world. At the same time, Du Plessis was quick to acknowledge that Gane is no easy opponent. He praised the Frenchman's athleticism and skill set, calling him a specimen who always brings something special to the octagon. Obviously, Gane is a specimen, Du Plessis noted. The way he's built, his size, his movement, his composure, it's all impressive. He's one of the most technical heavyweights we've ever seen. He's dangerous, especially if he finds his rhythm early. And in heavyweight MMA, anything can happen. One shot can change the entire fight. However, despite Gane's elite striking and experience in big moments, Du Plessis believes Aspinall's intensity and all-around game might be the deciding factor. He sees the British fighter's hunger and mental toughness as key advantages. When I look at Aspinall, I see a man who's still on the rise, Du Plessis added. He's young, motivated, and he's tasted both success and adversity. That kind of experience gives you a different edge. He's been through the injuries, the setbacks, and now he's back stronger than ever. I think that hunger is going to make the difference in this fight. As UFC 321 draws closer, fans and fighters alike are split on predictions. Gane's technical striking versus Aspinall's Aspinall's speed and killer instinct. But if Dricus du Plessis's words are any indication, he's confident that Tom Aspinall will seize the moment, make a statement, and solidify himself as the future of the heavyweight division. According to DDP, the night in Vancouver will belong to Tom Aspinall. Move on to another news. The mixed martial arts community is mourning the loss of one of its most respected and influential figures, Coach Duke Roufus, who passed away peacefully in his sleep at the age of 55. A former world champion kickboxer turned legendary MMA coach, Roufus left behind a legacy that has deeply impacted generations of fighters, coaches, and fans across the globe. According to his longtime friend and business partner Scott Joff, the founder of Roufusport MMA Academy in Milwaukee, died in his sleep on Thursday night. The heartbreaking news sent shockwaves throughout the MMA world, with athletes, fans, and colleagues taking to social media to express their grief and share stories of the man who helped shape the careers of some of the sport's biggest stars. Today, the Roufusport family and the martial arts world were stunned by the heartbreaking news that Duke Roufus passed away peacefully in his sleep. Joff wrote in a Facebook post, "Duke was more than a celebrated trainer and champion kickboxer. He was a mentor, an innovator, a father, and a friend whose influence transformed the landscape of mixed martial arts." Roufus was best known as the founder and head coach of Roufusport MMA Academy, one of the most respected training facilities in North America. Over the years, his gym produced a long list of elite fighters, including former UFC lightweight champion Anthony "Showtime" Pettis, Bellator bantamweight champion Sergio Pettis, former UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley, an Olympian, and one championship veteran Ben Askren. Born and raised in Milwaukee, Duke Roufus came from a fighting family. His brother, Rick Roufus, was also a world champion kickboxer. Together, they helped popularize American kickboxing in the 1980s and 1990s, bringing international recognition to their dynamic striking styles. Duke later transitioned from active competition to coaching, where his true genius emerged. Roufus developed a coaching philosophy rooted in technical precision, creativity, and respect. His fighters became known for their fluid striking, diverse offense, and composure under pressure, traits that came to define the Roufusport style. Under his guidance, Anthony Pettis famously landed the now iconic Showtime kick off the cage against Benson Henderson in the WEC, a moment that became one of the most replayed highlights in MMA history. Beyond the victories and championships, Duke's influence extended far beyond the cage. He was known for his compassion, wisdom, and genuine care for his students. Many fighters referred to him as a father figure, crediting him for not just shaping their careers but also helping them grow as people. The news of his passing has left a deep void in the MMA and kickboxing communities. Tributes have poured in from former fighters, journalists, and fans, all remembering Roufus as a pioneer who elevated the standards of martial arts coaching and helped evolve modern MMA into what it is today. At 55, Duke Roufus's life was tragically cut short, but his legacy will continue to live on through the countless athletes he trained and inspired. His impact on combat sports, both as a competitor and as a coach, is immeasurable. The Roufusport team, along with the global MMA community, will undoubtedly carry forward his spirit of discipline, creativity, and respect for the art of fighting. Duke Roufus will forever be remembered as more than just a coach. He was a visionary who changed the game and left behind a legacy that will continue to inspire generations to come. Move on to another news. During a recent press conference, Ilia Topuria made headlines once again, this time for taking direct aim at UFC lightweight champion Ilia Makhachev. Known for his bold statements and unfiltered confidence, Topuria didn't hold back as he mocked Makhachev while simultaneously teasing a potential move up in weight to challenge him in the future. The reigning featherweight champion began by addressing the growing buzz around Ilia Makhachev's upcoming fight against Jack Della Maddalena, a highly anticipated matchup that has fans speculating about how Makhachev will perform at welterweight. When asked for his thoughts on the fight, Topuria offered a fiery response that quickly went viral across social media. If Islam loses his next fight, Topuria said with a smirk, he can just go back to Dagestan to his farm and keep herding sheep. The comment, though clearly meant as a joke, struck a chord with fans, many interpreting it as a sharp jab at Makhachev and his Dagestani roots. Topuria's confident, sometimes provocative personality has made him one of the sport's most talked about figures, and this latest remark only added to his reputation for stirring the pot. However, the Georgian Spanish champion didn't stop there. He went on to say that if Makhachev does win his next fight, he would be more than willing to move up from featherweight to challenge him, calling it a fight that would capture the world's attention. But if Islam wins, Topuria continued, then I'll move up a weight class and fight him. That's a fight the fans would love to see. Champion versus champion. Let's see if he can handle real pressure then. This statement not only showcases Topuria's competitive nature but also hints at his long-term ambitions to conquer multiple divisions, a goal shared by many of the sport's all-time greats. The potential matchup between Topuria and Makhachev would be a monumental clash of styles. Topuria's crisp, devastating boxing and knockout power against Makhachev's elite grappling and smothering control. Topuria, who has remained undefeated in his professional career, has quickly risen through the ranks with his explosive performances and unwavering self-belief. He often speaks about legacy and greatness, aiming to cement his name among the best best fighters to ever step into the octagon. His confidence is not arrogance in his eyes, it's conviction. Makhachev, on the other hand, has built his career on discipline, dominance, and a fighting style that has left little room for opponents to breathe. His grappling-heavy approach and high fight IQ have made him one of the most formidable champions in recent memory. For Topuria to even consider facing him is a testament to his fearlessness and hunger for greatness. The rivalry between these two, while still hypothetical, has all the ingredients of a blockbuster. It pits two champions from vastly different fighting backgrounds and cultures against each other. For fans, it would be a spectacle of styles, skill, and pride. As for Topuria's remarks, they're yet another reminder that he's not afraid to speak his mind, no matter who's in front of him. Whether it's psychological warfare or genuine confidence, Ilia Topuria continues to make waves in the MMA world, ensuring that every time he speaks, the entire fight community listens. If Islam Makhachev emerges victorious in his next bout, and if Topuria makes good on his promise to move up, fans could be witnessing the beginning of a new superfight, one fueled by tension, talent, and two of the sport's brightest stars. Move on to another news. During a recent press conference in his home country of Georgia, UFC featherweight champion Ilia Topuria dropped a major hint about his next move, suggesting that he could be headlining the first ever UFC event on Paramount this coming January. The news immediately sent shockwaves across the MMA community, as fans eagerly anticipate who El Matador might face in his highly anticipated return to the octagon. Speaking to the local media, Topuria appeared relaxed yet confident as he shared updates about his upcoming plans. He revealed that discussions are actively taking place between his management team and the UFC regarding the landmark event, which is expected to be a massive moment for the promotion's debut on the Paramount platform. There's a very strong chance that I'll be part of the first UFC event on Paramount in January, Topuria said. We're in talks, and everything is looking positive so far. It would be a great way to start the new year. What really caught everyone's attention, however, was when Topuria mentioned a potential opponent, and it wasn't who most fans expected. Instead of calling out top-ranked contenders or fellow champions, he brought up Paddy Pimblett, the English lightweight star known for his charisma and huge fanbase. Paddy Pimblett is definitely one of the options, Topuria added with a slight grin. It's a fight that would bring a lot of attention, and fans have been asking for it for a long time. We have some history, and if the UFC wants to make it happen, I'm ready. This isn't the first time Topuria and Pimblett have traded words. Their rivalry dates back to a heated backstage confrontation and multiple social media exchanges, which fueled speculation that the two might eventually face off inside the cage. A showdown between them would be one of the most entertaining matchups in recent memory, combining Topuria's precision striking and knockout power with Pimblett's unpredictable, fan-favorite style. Topuria's rise in the UFC has been meteoric. Known for his undefeated record and devastating finishing ability, he's quickly established himself as one of the sport's most dangerous and marketable stars. His confidence, charisma, and fighting style have earned him comparisons to Conor McGregor's early days, a fighter who not only wins but captivates audiences around the world. The potential Paramount debut card is shaping up to be one of the UFC's biggest events of 2025. Partnering with Paramount marks a new era for the organization, expanding its global reach and providing a massive platform for top fighters to showcase their skills to a wider audience. Having Ilia Topuria headline that card would be a strategic move, blending athletic excellence with star power. While Topuria didn't confirm any official opponent or contract details, his comments strongly suggest that an announcement could be imminent. Whether it's against Paddy Pimblett or another top contender, fans can expect fireworks. For now, the Georgian champion remains focused and motivated. He ended the press conference by thanking his fans and promising an exciting start to 2025. I want to give people something special, he said. Every time I step into that cage, I do it to prove that I'm the best and to entertain everyone watching. January might be the perfect time to remind the world who I am. If the UFC confirms Ilia Topuria as the headliner for the first UFC on Paramount event, it would not only mark another milestone in his rapidly growing career but also set the tone for a massive year in mixed martial arts.